Hey, it says we're live. We're live, guys. So today I'm here with Jeff with eBay Addicts. My special guest is Drew from Profit Monsters. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure, man. My name's Drew. I go by Profit Monsters on YouTube and Drew underscore thrifts and flips on Instagram. I'm a full-time reseller. I've been doing it for about a year and a half, and just thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. I tried to catch you over the weekend, and so it looks like you had plans, and we just had to reschedule for Monday. I was actually up in Atlanta over the weekend working, and man, I'm telling you, man, as soon as I crossed the state line from Georgia to go back to Florida, I was like, thank God I'm back in Florida again, you know? So I was like, I don't want to go back there unless I have to. So
Yeah,
what's been going on, man? How you doing? I appreciate you coming on the show today. What's been
for
going
sure.
on lately? Are you had some time over the weekend with your family? Like, what have you been up to? I saw your live stream with that auction you had. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I just put out a video on my YouTube channel over the weekend about it. But I've been getting really into these Instagram live auctions where I go live on my Instagram channel, kind of like what we're doing right now on YouTube, and
Yeah.
I auction off vintage clothing. And I just take a shirt, I hang it up right here next to me, and then I just do it auction style, and I say, hey, who wants to be $10? And then people start bidding on it, and I sold quite a bit of inventory, so it was really, really exciting. And I'm going to start doing those every Friday. So,
Yeah, well, that's kind of nice to cut out the middleman so you don't have to pay all your eBay fees, PayPal fees, none of that, and you just cut out the middleman, right?
yeah, 100%. That's exactly it.
Yeah, and so that's cool. Yeah, I was selling some of those shirts you were selling. How much were you selling some of those shirts for, if you don't mind me asking? Because to me, I get my shirt at Walmart. I'm cool with paying $5 for a shirt, long as it works. I don't care if it has a special design or a logo on it. I just need it for work. So I'm just like, I'll pay $5 for a shirt and that's it, and I'm good to go. I get the ones off the rack at Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty cheap myself when it comes to like buying stuff for myself. Like this shirt,
Yeah,
I bought a
right.
shirt. I bought a shirt or a sweater from another guy, and he threw this in for free. So this one I'm keeping. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. We're rocking with free clothes. Hey, Wendy. Hey, guys. We're live. So if you have questions to ask our guests, go ahead and drop it in the chat.
Yeah,
So
someone just said, "Excuse me, Drew, where did you get those plastic totes?" These I use. I get them at Sam's Club, so it's like a big box store in Florida. So kind of like
yeah,
Costco.
yeah. So on your live stream, how much did you end up selling some of those shirts for? Because some of them went for over $100. I mean, they weren't like it wasn't like it sold for 10 or $15. Some of them was pretty substantial, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the video that I put out, I just had like a really good pickup from the Nextdoor app where I got some vintage band T-shirts and like a Rolling Stones shirt, Fleetwood Mac, Santana, um, Bruce Springsteen, and a couple other artists. So I ran a couple of those on my auction, and they ended up doing pretty good. But most of the time, I am selling like mid-tier shirts, like 25, $35. But yeah, so I sold a couple shirts for like, I think the lowest I sold one for was $20, and the most I sold one for was 160.
Really? Okay, that's awesome. So now you're officially a full-time reseller, right? So how has that been going for you? Is it kind of de-stressful because you kind of make up your own work schedule and you get to spend more time with the family and work from home? Or is it almost like, oh my gosh, I'm only getting paid on commission, so I got to make a sale or else? Does that ever like stick in your brain? It's like, dude, I need to come up with $5,000, $10,000 this month to pay the bills and put food on the table, and I'm the breadwinner of their family, so I got to make this work. Like, how has that been going for you since you switched over to full time?
Yeah, well, I lost my job. I was fired from my job for basically no reason back in the beginning of 2019, and I basically had no choice. I just had to make money, and I was selling on eBay like very, very minimally, like one or two things a month here and there, just for like a hobby. And I found myself when I lost my job. I was long story short, I was at a garage sale and I bought a box of cameras for $100, and I sold one of them overnight for $850. So once that happened, I was like, well, shoot, if I can make this kind of money going to garage sales, forget the corporate world or the 9 to 5. So I just jumped in full force and started documenting it on YouTube ever since I started.
Yeah. And
And
so
so
So I didn't mean to interrupt you. How long have you been on YouTube, and were you actually doing reselling like part time a little bit, kind of like sticking your toe in the water and testing the waters before you went full time, or you just switch gears and say I'm going to do this full time?
So I was selling like one or two things a month on eBay, like just for fun,
Yeah.
just because I was kind of like just doing it. I don't know how to describe it. I was just doing it for fun. And when I lost my job, I just said, well, I got nothing else lined up. So let me just try selling stuff on eBay. And it started working out really fast for me. I just jumped in 120%, full force, started going to thrift stores, garage sales, looking on Facebook Marketplace, all that kind of stuff, like right off the get go, and just hustled and grinded it out until I was making enough money to pay my bills. And it's just literally how I did it. And I
Yeah,
started
but I
making
mean,
YouTube.
you weren't stressed out about it or anything. You were just like, I'm going to figure this out. We'll make it work. Don't worry, everything's cool, right? Like you weren't like stressed out about it or anything, right? Like you weren't like losing any sleep or stressed out about bills or anything like that, right?
Oh, I was for sure. I think that
Okay.
I think
I'm
I
just
think
wondering. So what? So are you selling on any other platforms other than eBay, or is
yeah.
eBay your main platform that you're on right now?
Yeah, so I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Depop, and I sell locally on Facebook Marketplace as well. But those are like the three or the four main platforms I sell online. Um, and I kind of like cross post based on what is selling on that platform well for me. So like vintage clothing sells well on
Yeah.
eBay and Depop. So I don't post my vintage clothing on Mercari. But then video games sell really well on eBay and Mercari, and I don't post those on Depop. And then like all
Mhm.
my clothing gets cross posted from eBay to Poshmark. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I like all your crates and stuff you have in the back room. That literally looks like my room. Like I have stacks of stuff stacked up like to the ceiling almost in my room of merchandise. So Drew, let me ask you a couple questions, man. I wanted to kind of get into your backstory a little bit before you started becoming a full-time reseller. I watched one of your live streams that used to have a bread route, used to have like a motorcycle parts shop or something. Can you get in a little bit about kind of your backstory and where you came from before you got into reselling? Could you mind
sure.
elaborating a little bit on that?
Sure. Yeah, there was a question up here. I don't know if you wanted me to answer before I get into that real quick. Um, well, two questions. First one said, I stay away from clothes. Do you have returns since people can't fit into them? That was Bearded Veteran. For me personally, when I sell clothes, I provide measurements in all my listings. So it does take a little longer, but I find that I have very few returns on clothing because I provide measurements so people know exactly what they're getting. You still do get returns just because it's eBay and people are crazy, but you can avoid those returns by doing things like providing measurements. But you have to enjoy selling clothing to be able to deal with those types of
Right.
people. And then someone said, what's next door? It's an app, kind of like Craigslist or OfferUp, where it's local to like certain communities and neighborhoods, and you can like post for sales. I put a lot of ads out there that I'm like buying and reselling stuff. And so the video that I just posted on my YouTube channel, Profit Monsters, about the Nextdoor app, it gives you like, I put screenshots of what my ad looks like for people to reach out to me. So hopefully that helps if you want to check out my YouTube channel. The information for Nextdoor is in that video.
Yeah, I've used Let Go and I've used OfferUp and Craigslist. I haven't tried the Nextdoor app. I've seen other resellers had some luck with it, but I haven't tried it. I don't really like dealing with some of these individual people because they have an item and they want to get like top dollar for it. It seems like when you see somebody, like I was scrolling today on Craigslist looking through some of the video games, and I'm like, there's literally no margin there for me to flip and make any money on it. But like, for example, like I was just at the Dollar Tree, right? I can get brand new video games. It's an Xbox One video game, brand new in a shrink wrap at the Dollar Tree for $1. But then when I go like on Craigslist trying to look for video games, they're not selling them brand new in a shrink wrap for $1. There's not enough room there. It's like this much margin to make a profit, and it's not really worth my time. But yeah, I'll have to check that app out. But anyways, go ahead, Drew. We were trying to get into a little bit on your backstory on your life before you became a full-time reseller and all that. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, Wendy. Just type Profit Monsters in the search bar. You should be able to find it. I don't know if Jeff's linked it on the live specifically, but
I'm sorry, bro. I usually link it after the live stream. You can just type in Profit Monsters and you'll see it on YouTube, or you can just go to Google and type in Profit Monsters. Usually I'll link his channel after the show. I just had a bunch of packages I had to ship out today, and I was outsourcing, and I just didn't have time to put the link up there yet.
Yeah, no, I'll put it in if you're okay with it real quick.
Go ahead. It's no problem.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm helping you answer questions through the live chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, as far as my backstory is concerned, like I've always kind of had like a knack for like entrepreneurship and business, and that's kind of what's always driven and motivated me. So like when I was basically the thing that kind of like gave me a mental switch in my life was when I was like 17 years old. I was working for Publix, a grocery store here in Florida, and I had worked there for a year, and I was due for my like yearly evaluation for my raise. And I had passed, like I got like a 98 out of 100% on the evaluation, and they offered me a 5-cent raise. And so basically from that point on, to make a really long story short, like I switched in my mind that I would never work for somebody else ever again. Like I would do whatever it took to work for myself. If that's how corporate world was, you know, offering 5 cents to people that work really hard, you know, that's just not what I wanted to be. So, and
you know, the thing that sucks is they think they're doing you a favor by saying, we're going to give you a quarter or 50-cent raise. Like, and I'm just like, really, you know, what am I going to do with that? Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah. So, basically I was at a point where I was working for Publix, and I met a guy who had a bread route. And I basically was just, you know, kind of snooping around him and watching what he did in the mornings when I was stocking the grocery aisles. And I said, hey, if you ever need extra help, let me know. And I will, you know, come work for you. And basically one day, like 4 or 5 months later, he came up to me and was like, all right, let's go. So I put in my 2 weeks at Publix, and I didn't even know the guy. I quit working for Publix and I started working for this guy. And throughout the process, I met a lot of people, made connections at the warehouse that I worked for him and stuff. And he actually wasn't a very nice guy in the long run. I ended up quitting working for him. And then like 6 months later, I was delivering pizza, and somebody from the warehouse actually called me and said they were selling their route and asked me if I wanted to buy it. And luckily I had some money saved up in my bank account, and I was able to put a down payment on it and go ahead and buy it. And I ran the route for about 1.5 years, made pretty good money doing that. It was like Arnold, Thomas English muffins and bagels, Entenmann's donuts, like those types of products. I did that for about 1.5 years, and like long term, it just wasn't for me because you had to wake up at like 2 a.m. And I'm not a morning person at all.
I was about to say, I can feel the vibe. You're like me. You're not a big morning person. You're just like waking up as a zombie at 5 a.m, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's funny. I was actually, when I first moved to Florida, I needed a job. So I just got a job delivering pizza, and I did that for about 1 year, just because it's like, I moved here, you know, I didn't really know anybody. I was staying in a hotel. I just got a job delivering pizza at Domino's, just so I had, you know, some cash in my pocket to pay the bills. Because if you move across country, you don't know anybody. You're just like, where can I get a job right now and start work? So yeah, man, I understand. I've been there before. But so your bread route thing, that's interesting to me that you were able to buy the bread route, and you're getting up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to do this route. How long did it take you to do the route in the morning? Were you done in like 6 hours, 8 hours? Like, how long did it usually take?
So I had a really small route when I bought it. It was only a couple grocery stops. So I was up at like 3 a.m, and then I'd be done by like 10 a.m. So it was about 7 hours. You know, waking from the time I woke up to the time I got home. And I drive to the warehouse, pick up the product, you know, inventory it, make sure it was all there, bring it to the stores, deliver it, pull the old stuff, bring the old stuff back to the warehouse, and then go home. So, but while I had my bread route, I actually was looking for cheap transportation to get back and forth to my stores to like check the shelves and stuff like that. On my off days, because that was kind of like a requirement. And at that time, gas was super expensive, and my truck was like a big V8 F-150, so it was a gas guzzler. And then I was pulling a trailer, so I ended up going to a scooter shop to buy a scooter because I saw signs that it was like 100 miles to the gallon. You know what I mean? So I ended up going to this little scooter shop and I bought a scooter from them to get back and forth. And I realized when I had my bread route that all my friends were still in school or still at work by the time I got done with work. So I actually asked the guys at the scooter shop if they needed help, like in the sales department or something, because I was just bored and I wanted to pass the time. So I got a part-time job selling scooters at the shop. And lo and behold, like a year later, they gave me an opportunity to buy a franchise, and I did. And then I owned and operated it for 5 years. And
so let me ask you a question. So you already sold your bread route at the time before you started with the scooter shop?
So I sold my route like the same month I sold my route like a month after I opened the scooter shop. But I was doing both in the very beginning. But I got burnt out and I couldn't do it. It was just too much work. So, opening a brand new dealership, basically, it was a motorcycle dealership. So, opening a brand new dealership and then, still running the bread route, I was miserable. I was working, 90 plus hours a week doing both, and I just couldn't handle it. So,
there's only so many hours in a day, right? So,
right.
So then you got tired of doing that. So what made you decide to go ahead and quit doing your motorcycle gig to get like a corporate job?
So, well, when I wanted to sell the scooter shop is because I wasn't getting along with the franchise owner, and they were making some decisions that I didn't agree with the company. And my wife and I just decided that it would be best if we sold and got out now before, anything got worse. And I'm honestly thankful that we got out when we did. And so when I sold the scooter shop, I was kind of doing some selling on eBay at the time, like just part-time here and there, making a couple little sales. So I was like, well, I'll just sell some stuff. And then a friend from church actually had this position open in their company as a corporate director for an IT company that he was starting. So, I had the prerequisites and the qualifications and the resume for it. So he gave me a job, and I worked for him for about 3 or 4 months. And due to some disagreements with the co-owner of the company, not the actual owner, they accused me of something that I didn't do, and they let me go without being able to explain myself. And so, they didn't give me a chance to explain myself. And from that point on, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to, not work for anybody else anymore. And the only reason I took that job is because he was offering me a really good pay for, a startup. And so I just took it because it was, a good opportunity. But I knew it wasn't like what I wanted to do. So then when that fizzled out, I just decided to go ahead and start selling full-time on eBay and just said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this work. And then I started learning about other platforms like Poshmark, Mercari, and Depop, and started making YouTube videos probably about March, April of 2019. So maybe a month after I had started reselling. And
really? So what made you decide to start filming a YouTube channel? Because I feel like there's a lot of people in the situation. Like for me, for years, I would watch YouTube videos or I would buy stuff on eBay, but it's like the lever never went off in my brain was like, hey, I could have my own eBay store and sell stuff on eBay, or I could have my own YouTube channel. So when did that like switch go off in your brain? Because I think you said you had a YouTube channel in the past previously at one point, right? So you had prior experience, right?
Yeah. I had this YouTube channel with my friend Jeremy, and we were like basically doing like teenager like challenge video stuff where we'd have to like blindfolded open a tin can that didn't have a label on it, and whatever was in it, we had to eat it. And it would be like green beans or dog food. You know what I mean? And so we were just making like dumb videos. And my wife got pregnant, and then we had a kid, and he started going back to school. So like our YouTube channel just kind of like fizzled out. We were having fun making videos, but we kind of just, we're still friends, but we just decided like, hey, we just can't continue to make videos. And from that point, I knew that whatever I did, like I still wanted to make content, but I didn't know how to do it because I still had the scooter shop at the time that we were making those videos. It was like on the weekends and at night and stuff when I wasn't working at the scooter shop. So when that fizzled out and then the reselling thing came up, I started finding some people on YouTube that, I was like watching and learning. Like I found Daily Refinement. I think he was one of the first channels that I found. Rake and Profit, one of the first guys that I found. And like Garage Flips, Lonnie. I'm sure you and most of the people in the chat know most of them. Those are probably like the first like 3 channels that I found that I started really getting into. Like Rake and Profit, you know, he was making things just so simple, like laying it out step by step, like go to Savers, buy these toys. Here's how you list it on eBay. Here's how much money you make. And for me, his videos were so simple. I was like, geez, if he can do this and get 100,000 subscribers, so can I. And I know. And then I found Ray as the entrepreneur. And he's got, at this point, he's got like 350,000 subscribers. And when I found his channel, he was doing this, like the time I found his channel, he was doing this eBay business challenge where he was seeing how much money he could make in 30 days by starting an eBay business. And that kind of gave me the boost to be like, yo, if this guy can go to thrift stores and buy clothing and do it and make YouTube videos about it and get paid on YouTube as well, like, you know. But I really decided that I wanted to make content not for the money, but because like I've always had a passion for teaching people and helping people. And when I saw that other people were doing it, it just kind of clicked in my head, like, instead of making dumb teenage challenge videos like I was in the past, why don't I do something that will benefit society? And that's when I started making the YouTube videos about my reselling.
That's awesome. Yeah, we just had Daily Refinement. He was on the channel like last week, I think. He came by and hung out. He's a nice guy. He lives in, I think he said he lives in Oakland and San Francisco, like way on the West Coast. But yeah, man, I was kind of in the same boat, man. I was actually made a couple of videos at the first of the year. You saw one of my videos of Rally Roots. And it wasn't until I went to the eBay Open this year and I hung out with Rally Roots and I got to hang out with Rockstar Flipper and we were just hanging out with them in person. And I just felt like, man, if these guys can do it, I can do it too. You know, because at the time, Rally Roots has like 150,000 subscribers. Rockstar Flipper has like 100,000 subscribers. But when I was in that circle with them, and we're just here hanging out, chit-chatting, and there's people in the crowd coming up to you, and they're like, hey, I saw your video, Rockstar Flipper, Rally Roots. I appreciate everything you guys do. And when you got to see the emotion, the expression from people's face, they were strangers. They never met them before. And they're walking up to them and wanting to get photos with them and autographs and saying thank you for everything you do. I was like, dude, I can do this. I just felt like I belong in this community. I feel like I have something I can contribute. I was just like, let's do it. You know, because before I was kind of like making videos, but I wasn't for sure if I wanted to stick with it, if I was just like kind of testing the waters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Drew,
I'm posting this on my Instagram story real quick.
Go ahead. So tell me a little bit about your trip you had. You had a trip all the way up there to see Harry Tornado, man, because I saw you guys. I was actually there. We had Joey on the channel last week. I was there in your live stream with you and Joey and Harry Tornado. I was actually in the live stream. I was like, man, they actually did it. I heard that your car broke down and you were having you had all these other obstacles you had to overcome to get up there. And I was just like, man, what is going on, you know?
Yeah, so the trip with Josh, or with Joey to go see Josh was really cool because Joey and I had never really met each other, or we don't know about each other at all at the time. I just saw him in Harry Tornado's live streams, or, you know, in his YouTube videos comment section. And he was like, you know, he just always seemed like a hype guy, kind of like me, just always excited and happy and just, you know, down to earth. And so we slowly started talking on like YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that, just very minimally. And he just kept saying in the comments, like, Josh, I'm going to come see you one day. Josh, I'm going to come see you one day. I love you, bro. And I don't know. I'm just kind of like a you only live once kind of guy. So I just messaged him on Instagram and I'm like, hey, Joey, you don't really know me that well, but let's take a road trip and go see Harry Tornado. Are you about it? And he like freaked out. He's like, yo, let's go. And it was just kind of like the perfect. It was like
he's always like that. He's always like, yo, let's go. He's always like, let us go. He's always at a 9 out of 10 all the time. But go ahead. So you guys were just like, go ahead.
It was like perfect chemistry, just him and I. Like he literally drove 2 hours to my house. And then he hopped in my car. We both started recording YouTube videos for our channels, and we drove to see Josh. Well, it was a little bit planned. Like we messaged Josh's wife and asked if we could surprise him. She gave us the go ahead, kept it a secret. You know, we told her the day that we were going to come and everything like that. And, you know, on the way up there, my cylinders were misfiring on the highway. I had to pull off, and replace a part of my car like in the middle of the night, and or not in the middle of the night, but like late at night, and it was just a lot of fun. Joey and I are both just so positive, and have a good outlook on life. We just don't let anything get us down, and so we were just excited to go see Josh, and then he was excited to see us. So it was just kind of like a whole smorgasbord of happy people, I guess you could say. So, but
Yeah.
I just people talk about stuff like that all the time. Like when you were saying, when you saw Rally Roots and you saw Rockstar Flipper, like a lot of people would say, I saw them at eBay Open, but I was too scared to go up and say hi to them or something like that. But like you might not get those opportunities again, and they may just give you like that boost, or talking to that one person or stepping out of your comfort zone might do something for you that could change your life. And so I'm always open to like new things and meeting new people. And so like meeting up with Joey was just like a really, really cool experience. And now we've become really close friends. We like talk almost every day now. And I'm actually going to go visit him this weekend on Friday. I'm going to drive out to him and stay the night, and we're going to hang out and go thrifting and make some videos together and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, Joey's a nice guy. Like I said, we had him on the channel last week for like an hour. So we had a good time hanging out and talking. But I'm telling you, man, that guy, he's high energy. He's like go, 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 go. You know what he reminds me of? Macho Man, where he's like, his energy is all the way up here. There's no turtle mode. It's rabbit mode. But he's a really cool guy. Yeah. So Drew, so anyways, so you had your trip up there. I was actually in the live stream. It was something like the live stream you don't want to miss. And had you and Joey and Harry Tornado up there. Heard you guys were like throwing axes. I saw you digging through some of those bins in the back. Some of those, not bins, but like those big pallets. How did that go, man?
It was a lot of fun. Josh was really welcoming, which was really cool, because we didn't know how he was going to be in person. You see someone on YouTube, but you don't know how they're going to be in person. And I mean, he's exactly the same way he is on video that he is in real life. And he was just like, hey, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to open up one of my mystery pallets with me? Or do you want to go to the bins? Or you want to go thrifting? Or you want to, go mini golfing? What do you guys want to do? And we were both just like, fanboying a little bit, because it was just, cool to meet someone in person that had a lot of subscribers. And so we were both like, hey, whatever you want to do, man. You want to go to Goodwill? You want to go to lunch? Just we're here for the ride. So it was just a lot of fun. We just did a lot of stuff together and crammed as much stuff as we could. And Harry Tornado is just a super nice guy. So it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, I'll try to reach out to him here. I don't have his email, but I'll try to reach out to him, see if we can get him on the channel. He seems like a nice guy. Sometimes I see you in the live stream sometimes, or in the comments section on his channel. But yeah, I'll try to reach out to him, see if we can get him on the channel. So, Drew, tell us, what kind of projects have you been up to lately since you got back in town? You have a full-time reseller. What kind of projects have you been up to lately?
As far as projects are concerned, I don't have anything like specifically. I am always trying to learn new stuff. So like I've got a couple of PlayStation 2s right now, like in my office, that aren't working. And so I'm trying to fix them and get them working so I can sell them, because I got them like super cheap. So I'm always trying to mess around with stuff like that, but at the same time, like, time is money. So if I can't fix it in a certain amount of time, I'm just going to move on to the next thing. But I'm always looking for new ways to source and make money. The Instagram live auctions has kind of been my new thing. Like, since I've only done it 2 weeks, but it's shown pretty successful so far. Like, the amount of money I'm making on a Friday night just selling vintage t-shirts. So that's kind of like my new project, is focusing on that for Friday nights, finding good shirts that I can sell and not have to pay fees and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, Drew. So, tell us what kind of items you like sourcing, and when you're outsourcing, because when you're a reseller, there's a lot of stuff to it. You got to go find the product. You got to go take photos. You got to market it. You got to box it. You got to ship it. You got to do customer service. There's a lot of stuff involved. It's not just like a one thing where you just, I found a photo. I found an item. I took a photo. I'm through with it. I'll put it in the closet. So when you're outsourcing, I wanted to ask you a question. I saw one of your videos that you were in the bins lately. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I've only been in the bins maybe once. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I go to the bins probably at least once a week, sometimes even more, depending on if I am looking for a lot of inventory. For me, in my area, it's mainly clothing. So like if I've had a rough week of sourcing, like at thrift stores or garage sales were weak for the weekend, like I'll take a trip out to the bins and stock up on clothing, because clothing is, if you can get it at the Goodwill bins or the Goodwill outlet or Goodwill clearance center, it's called different places. It's called different things in different places, but yeah, in my area, it's $1.39 a pound, and you just fill up your cart and you put it on this big scale, and then you pay by the pound. Unless it's like electronics and hard goods, it's normally like $1, $2, $3 for, stuff like that. They kind of make up their own prices at the register, which is weird. But I do like sourcing at the bins. I was on like a big sourcing high at the bins, like at the end of last year, beginning of this year. I was going hard at the bins, probably like 3-4 times a week. And then I just kind of got burnt out from clothing. So I slowed down a little bit, because, clothing is not for everybody. I mean, you have to, will be willing to be patient. You have to have like, specific stuff. Not everybody's just going to buy your Nike dry fit golf shirt for $29.99 when, they can find them at their Ross or Marshall's brand new for $16.99. So like, have stuff priced right, and you have to buy the right items. So I learned a lot about different stuff and what to buy, what not to buy. And I found that I started really enjoying selling vintage clothing, because it's a little more proprietary in nature, where it's harder to come by. If you find something, it's a little more rare, or it's, just something that relates to somebody specifically, you know what I mean, from their past or something like that. And like anybody can go get, like I said, a Nike dry fit golf shirt from just about any store you can imagine these days, but you can't go buy a 1995 Dale Earnhardt NASCAR shirt, anywhere, so people pay for that stuff because they're diehard NASCAR fans, or they grew up watching Dale Earnhardt, or they had the shirt when they were a kid, so I've really found that I've enjoyed selling vintage clothing. And so I'll sell any clothing, but that's what I focus on. There was like a mosquito flying. Sorry. That's what I focus on when I go to the bins a lot. But I really like sourcing there. It's very inexpensive. Your margins are insanely high.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been to the bins before, it's not like a regular Goodwill. They have stuff literally sitting in bins. You're digging through these bins, and you might want to wear gloves, because some of the stuff's nasty. It's dirty. You don't know what you're going to stick your hand in. It might stick your hand in and get stuck with a razor blade. There's all kind of stuff in these bins. So you want to wear gloves, and then you take the stuff, and once you find the stuff in these bins, you put in your shopping cart, right? And then once you get ready to check out, they weigh you. It's weird. It's almost like an all-you-can-eat buffet. They weigh you before you go in, and then they weigh you when you go out, right? So they're going to weigh your shopping cart, and according to how much your shopping cart weighs, that's how much they charge you. You can get some good stuff there, but I think some of the electronic stuff, you're kind of taking a gamble if you don't test it before you leave, because you don't know what kind of condition it is. You don't know if it works or not. And the bins is kind of a cutthroat thing. There's some people, that's all they do is go to the bins, and they're almost like in their minds. They're like, if I don't get this Nike t-shirt, I'm going to starve. I can't feed my family. And the weird thing is, you'll find a pair of shoes, and you'll find one shoe, and you're working around here for 30 minutes trying to find the left shoe that goes to the right shoe. Like they don't even match, right? And there's somebody's holding the left shoe, somebody's got the right shoe, and they're trying to make a pair of shoes. It's craziness. So just be careful if you go to the bins. I've only been maybe once or twice, and like I said, they have one in St. Pete. I might go check it out, but I haven't been to the one in Orlando. So you like selling vintage clothing. I saw that you like selling video games, and you like combos, DVDs, and VHS players. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, Drew? Items that you like to look for? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've kind of just learned a lot over the last year and a half, just soaking up knowledge. I mean, everybody asks, how do you know so much? How do you know what to sell? How do you know what sells, what's profitable? And I tell people two things. The first one is I watched a ton of YouTube videos to learn about all sorts of products. Like I learned about TV remotes from Rockstar Flipper. I learned about like the North Face jackets in Patagonia from Rally Roots. I learned about, Batman action figures from Garage Flips. I learned about golf clubs from Cincinnati Picker. You know what I mean? Just like watching all these different channels, and you see what they pick up, and then you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And then also I've learned a ton on Instagram. I follow a lot of resellers on Instagram, and I'm always soaking up knowledge about what other people are reselling and what's profitable. So, because you want to sell stuff that is profitable. So I've found that like some of my favorite things to sell are video games because they sell fast. You know what I mean? I mean, there's literally no denying that for any reseller. Most people know that video games is one of the easiest things to sell as long as they're the right kind of games. You know what I mean? Like Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 2, like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, like those kinds of things you can sell very, very fast if you're priced right. There's a huge demand for that market. DVD, VHS combo units, VCR recorders, those I would have never in a million years guessed that those would be profitable. And I learned about those from Walter Noblock. I don't know if you follow him or not.
Yeah, I'm a subscriber to his channel. He's on that Extreme Unboxing channel. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he was on there. Sometimes I'll stop into his lives and ask him questions, and he always looks at me like I'm stupid. I'm like, no, dude, I don't sell on Amazon. I'm legitimately asking you questions. I'm not trying to like prank call you. Like if I don't know, I don't know. But yeah, Walter seems like a nice guy, but sometimes he looks at me like, really? You're going to ask me this question? Really? But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's a little bit more of a serious dude. Like he just doesn't, if he thinks that you're, making a joke on him, he's just like, all right, get out of here. But other than that, like I've learned a lot from watching his channel. And so as far as like things to resell, yeah, I've just kind of like found certain categories that I really enjoy selling, but I will literally sell anything. Like if you could see my desk, I've got all sorts of different stuff. I've got video games, I've got pots and pans, I've got blank VHS tapes, I've got shoes, I've got lunch, I've got light bulbs brand new in the box, so I've got all sorts of stuff.
How many items do you have on your eBay store right now listed?
I think my current active is like somewhere around 1,430. So but,
I went on your eBay store the other day and looked around just to see what you had listed. You had a whole variety of stuff. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sell anything that makes a profit now because my store is so big and you only have so much time in the day when you're making sales. Like you said earlier, you got to pack, ship, source, list. I do it all on my own. I don't have any help right now.
Me too.
When you're doing all of that, your time is so limited. So like now I'm at a point where if something won't make me like $25 profit, I tend to just leave it at the store. I try to set that as my bare minimum at this point because like I don't want to pick up a t-shirt for $4.19 at Goodwill and sell it for $12. Like it's just not enough profit for me. But that business model is how I started. I would literally go buy shirts for $1 and sell them for $10. And then you make, after fees or whatever, if the buyer pays shipping, you make $6-7. So, that's how my business started. But now I'm in a place where I don't need to buy $10 t-shirts from Goodwill because I can source smarter and list less and make more profit. So, and I'm enjoying sourcing certain things now. Like I really like selling shoes. I really like reselling used shoes. They're very profitable and they're easy to find at all sorts of thrift stores. I would have never known when I first started, until I basically met Ryan and Lindsay on Instagram, and then I interviewed them on my YouTube channel, and they are 6-figure shoe resellers. All they sell is shoes and sandals and boots, nothing else. And they sell on Poshmark and Mercari. They don't even sell on eBay. They don't like eBay. And they sell over $100,000 a year. Like this year, they're I think going to do like 150 or 200,000 in used, mostly used shoe sales. And so when I saw that, I was like, I need to get in on this game. And I started looking up shoes. And that goes to my second point when I was saying earlier, there were 2 things that I tell each person. The second thing I tell each person is look up everything before you buy it. Never go into a thrift store and say, hey, this Goofy looks pretty cool. And Disney is Disney, so someone must buy this for a lot of money. When in reality, this Goofy is only selling for $5.99 on eBay. You know what I mean? So I tell people to look up everything before you buy something, because if you're going to spend your money and then it's just going to sit in your closet until it sells, you might as well spend money on something that's going to make you money. Like,
yeah,
this is a pair of Nike SB shoes right here. These are Dunk Lows. I don't know much about shoes specifically, but when you look up the tag number, I paid $60 for these shoes and they're selling for like $400. So, but I would have never known that other than by looking up the tag number on the inside of the shoe. And so, just like a video game, like you showed earlier, I mean, you can scan the barcode on the back of a video game and it'll show you all the sold comps. If you don't have a barcode, or a tag number.
You can
in
type it
literally
in.
you type it in. Ceramic, goofy, 6-inch figurine, and see if anything comes up. And if you don't see anything come up, then it's most likely not selling on eBay, or there's a huge demand for it and there's not enough selling. So, it's one of those two things.
So Drew, I don't want to keep you much longer. I'm going to let you go at 45 minutes. I got to go to work. I got to go to Gainesville, and I know you got stuff going on. So before we let you go, I did notice on your YouTube channel you got like 5,000 subscribers. So give us your top 3 tips for eBay, and give us like maybe 1 or 2 tips for YouTube in case someone else wants to start a YouTube channel. So let's go with that, and then we'll let you roll out, man. All right?
Sure. Yeah. All right. So top 3 tips for eBay. The first one would be, before you sell anything, look up comps on everything you buy. That's kind of like, my first point is, don't sell anything that doesn't show profitable. Don't just, unless you're like in a Goodwill and you can't get signal and that it's something you've already sold, look up everything before you buy it. And, the second thing I would say would be, price stuff high, because you're going to get low ballers. You're going to get people that are going to offer you less. So if you see that they're selling consistently for $25, plus shipping, list yours for $30. And then when a $25 offer comes in, then you're selling it for what they're going for anyway. I tend to list my stuff a little bit on the higher side because I'm more of a slow dime versus a fast nickel kind of guy anyway. I like to maximize my profits on every purchase I make, but I'm open to offers. Like if something's been sitting for a while, I'll take an offer. And third point would be, don't be afraid to try new categories, because you can learn about categories and then you may find you really enjoy it. Like I learned about from a Facebook group that plush is very profitable, like stuffed animals and things like that. Like this is just a small one, like a little Pokemon one, but there are certain plush and certain stuffed animals. Like a couple months ago, I got a bag of plush, like a huge bag of plush for $2.99 at Goodwill. And in the bag, there was this one Luigi Super Mario plush, and I sold it within like 2 hours of listing it for $100.
Really? $100
like
for a stuffed animal? That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And I've sold other stuffed animals for like 200. So, I would say, check for the third point would be, check out new categories. If you are struggling with whatever you're selling now, like if whatever you're doing now is working for you, keep doing it. But if you're looking for new categories, or you're like, man, I'm just not making enough money selling clothing, then go to video games, or go to Walmart and check the clearance section, or go look in the golf club section and learn about golf clubs. There's literally YouTube videos for everything. So you could type in how to make money on eBay, or top 30 items to sell on eBay, or bolos to sell on eBay. And there's gajillions of videos out there that will teach you great products.
So Drew, how often do you recommend someone list on eBay? How often should they list on eBay? Because I feel like sometimes people have this thing where they're so excited and pumped to go sourcing, and then the stuff just sits in the closet for 6 months. Like, so to me, I try to list items every day. Right now, I give myself a goal to list 100 items a day, and then at the end of the day, if I reach my goal, I give myself like a treat. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to Wendy's and buy myself a chocolate frosty from Wendy's because I reached my goal. So how often should someone list items on eBay? Because if you don't list your items for sale, you're not going to make sales, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree 100% that you should be listing stuff every day. There is no proof, but the algorithm supposedly on eBay likes that you are consistently listing and adding more stuff to your store. Even if it's two or 3 items a day, don't go sourcing. And then I'm also a firm believer in team no death pile. Like that's kind of one of my things on like Instagram and YouTube, is I don't like having death piles. So like I'll go sourcing and then I'll come home and I'll list it that night. Or I'll at least try to. I have a death pile, I guess you could say, but it's not that many items. Like I don't have a lot of stuff. Probably, in my total inventory of stuff that I need to list actively is at any given time probably less than 25 items. So, but I would say listing every day is very, very, very important. Unless you're one of those sellers who goes sourcing 5 days a week and then you take 2 days off and you list 200 items like Saturday, Sunday. That model works for some people, but for me, I can't sit and list 200 items a day for 2 days and then go sourcing for 5 days. So I like to source, a little bit, go home and list it, and then go back out and source again. And then you feel like I have, I feel guilt-free about anything that I want to buy because I already know most of my stuff is already listed.
Yeah, good. So you can give me 1 or 2 tips for YouTube, because I saw you just started in March and you went from 0 subscribers to like 5,000 subscribers basically in like 6 months, like overnight. So can you give somebody some advice if they're like, maybe they're on the fence, or they're like, man, this sucks, my channel's not monetized, I don't know if I want to do this, like, I don't feel like I want to be consistent. Like, can you give us a few tips on that? Because I knew you had experience in the past on making YouTube videos.
Yeah, so just to clarify, my YouTube channel, I started in March of 2019, not March of 2020.
I thought you meant more. Sorry about that. I thought you meant March of 2020. Go ahead.
Oh, I wish. Yeah. No, the 2 things I would say. The first one is YouTube is a grind. Like there is no secret formula. There's no secret viral video keywords or nothing like that. You just get lucky. You know what I mean? Like you hit an algorithm, you do hit a keyword. Someone like Rally Roots or Harry Tornado puts out a video and you happen to put out a video with similar stuff and it gets suggested and a couple viewers go watch it and then it gets big views. Like I haven't really had any videos go viral. I think I have like 1 or 2 videos like close to 10,000 views, but that's about it. But I mean, like Harry Tornado has videos with like 150,000 views. Bearded Picker has videos with 2.4 million views on them. So it's a grind. Like you just got to not give up. And you got to love making content. If you don't like making content, then YouTube probably won't work for you because you have to enjoy that process of recording, editing, uploading, engaging in the YouTube community, leaving comments, being in other people's live streams, talking to other resellers, but if you are considering starting a YouTube channel and you haven't yet, I would say, just start. Everybody's first 5 videos, will always be their worst videos. There will never be anybody who has a, banger first video. It just doesn't work that way because nobody knows what's going to work and what doesn't. So, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of what people think. I get hate comments on my YouTube channel videos all the time. And you just ignore them because those people are just looking for a fight. They got nothing better to do with their life. People who leave thumbs downs on your videos and stuff, they're just, those people are on every single channel. You go look at a Rally video, and they may have 2,000 likes and they have 100 dislikes, but they don't care about those 100 people, like the fact that they're disliking, because there's nothing you can do about those type of people. So, just ignore the haters and keep hustling on.
So don't get discouraged and keep being consistent, keep putting out videos and don't stop. And then sooner or later, you'll start gaining some traction, but it's not going to happen. None of this stuff happens overnight. I get messages. People want to know like, hey, can you give us a BOLO video? Can you give us a how-to? Can you give us a course on eBay? I'm like, no, I want you to screw up and make mistakes. You're going to learn way more from screwing up, from putting a shipping label on the wrong address and mixing things up and making mistakes, more than I can teach you in a video. Like, I want you to screw up, skin your knees, skin your elbows, make mistakes. You're going to learn way more from screwing up than I can teach you from me sitting here talking to you, telling you, now do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. You can screw up, skin your knees, skin your elbows. It's like learning to ride a bike, and get up and do it again. Anyways, it's been over 45 minutes. I appreciate my man Drew for hanging out with me. I know you got to hang out with your wife and your kids and your family and get back to listing items. I got to run. I got to go to Gainesville. We're going to do it again sometime, and I'll send you an email and we'll hang out again soon, okay?
For sure, man.
You have any final thoughts before we let you go, Drew?
Just keep hustling, man. Keep doing listings like you said. I mean, that's what it takes, is just consistency, never giving up, and putting in the work that nobody else wants to put in. You got to work harder than the next thrifter at Goodwill. You got to be there earlier. You got to get there later. You got to look up more items, those types of things. So just don't give up. Keep going.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I appreciate Profit Monsters for hanging out with us. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.